Came by the boat at lunchtime today with the plan to wire up 2 items, which I'll go through in a moment. I got up here, the wind was howling, small craft advisory today, and I ended up lying down and fell asleep and slept for 2 hours. The wind and gentle rocking here in the slip just knocks me out every time. I get the best sleep on the boat. And so now it's like 3 o'clock and I'm missing a part I need, so I think I'm just gonna bail. I wanna get home before peak commuter traffic. I got a 40-minute drive back to the house in no traffic, and it can be a little over an hour in. But this is what I was planning to do that'll have to wait till this weekend. I got this switch, which is separate wiring for the light that's on it, the indicator light. So the can be independent from the state of the switch and the wiring to do so. My plan for this is a manual bypass to disable the ACR. So I'll go down here. This is all my new wiring. So I get this new sub panel. This is the disconnect switch for the engine start battery bank, which is on the starboard side. I probably should have put in a dual switch here for both banks, single switch that switches on and off both banks. At the time, I didn't think I needed it, and I was just trying to minimize the amount of clutter or cable runs that are wedged down here on this little panel. And I have a disconnect switch for the house bank in the electrical panel. We'll look at that in a sec. So I have this ACR that automatically combines my 2 banks when the charger or the alternator are active. Essentially, anytime there's about 13 volts of current on either side, the switch closes, combines the banks. That allows the alternator to charge the house and start banks at the same time. Or when I'm on shore power, the same thing happens, except when I'm on shore power, I'm using the AC charger. It's an intelligent charger, and it has 3 circuits on it to charge independently, 3 different banks. So I don't want the ACR confusing the battery charger. From what I've read, it's okay to leave it combined all the time, but I'd rather utilize whatever smarts there are in the AC charger to float and maintain my banks separately. They are different size and capacity batteries on each of my banks. So I want to disable this when I'm at the dock. So that is the point of this switch. I'm going to put this switch in this panel so that when I'm on shore power, I can disable the ACR, the flick of a switch. I will just add this to my checklist each time we return to the dock. I usually go through and turn off all my DC breakers before we leave. Kill the engine room lights now. And then I've been leaving the main disconnect on, which if these are all off, it doesn't really feed anything additional. I've got bilge pumps and other always on devices wired directly in front of the switch down at that sub panel on that fuse bus. So I could probably get in the habit of turning this off. The selector, I run it on the house bank by default, which is number 2. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. Yeah, so the primary purpose of this switch is when I'm at the dock on AC shore power, I bypass the ACR. Now the second case, and this is a safety thing, if I get in a situation where I start the engine and the starter motor gets stuck and stays engaged, that's a bad thing. And the fix for that would be to cut the power to the starter, which I would do so manually by throwing that engine disconnect switch. However, if the ACR has closed, and it will when the engine's running, because I'm outputting about 13 volts, that means now that starter motor will continue to spin off the house bank through the ACR. And as it stands right now, I don't have a way to cut off the ACR, which is the second purpose of this switch. And the second project for today is to wire up this mini AC voltage gauge, which is new. I left the bag of terminal screws and nuts in my backpack, which I failed to bring. It's sitting at the house, so this will have to wait until this weekend. So basically all I've accomplished today on the boat is a nap, which is a good day. So that's it for now. See you next time.